Hi, my name is Doug Vahrenberg, and I want to tell you about the Dobyns Champion Series cranking sticks today. Um, Dobyns Rods builds a whole variety of baits, from spinning reels to casting reels to flipping sticks, swim bait rods. But I am a crankbait fool. I love throwing a crankbait more than I do anything else. And the reason I guess that I love cranking is I can cover a lot of water in practice. I can cover a lot of water in the tournament, and I can find those fish. I'm more of a power style fisherman, so cranking matches up so perfect to me because it allows me to cover all those different depths of water. But the one problem that I've had in the past is finding the perfect cranking stick to go with all my different crankbaits that I use. Like this one right here is a custom balsa bait that I use a lot of. It pulls a lot on the rod, but the thing that I use it in is I can throw it in shallow, up against trees, into the thickest, deepest timber where a lot of guys are pitching jigs and stuff. I'll throw this crankbait in there, and I'll burn it through there and make those fish react. A lot of times them fish won't pick up a jig or something, but they will eat my crankbait. I'm going to show you a couple casts with it, and we'll get into. The thing is, I'm burning this reel as fast as I can, and it's a high-speed reel. 6-3-1 team dial advantage. That bait is just sitting there jerking and hunting and all that stuff. And you've got to have a rod that can precisely match. If not, it's not going to work for you. If you look at this thing, look at the tip action there. Look at how much that thing bends. But look at how it bends here. Look at the backbone compared to the tip. That's what you need when you're throwing these big bulging balsa style baits, or the Lucky Craft RC series, or the BDS. I throw them a lot too. You got to have a good rod that matches with them. The next thing I'm going to show you is you can take that same rod and you can get into your medium running baits, like this is the flat CB DR. Great little bait, 8 to 10 foot depth range, but it requires some tip action. When that big old fish bites onto it, you don't want that old girl to be able to jump up and throw that bait. You want to allow the rod to fight that fish around and get it in the boat and catch that fish in a lifetime, or catch that fish that's going to win you that next tournament. And that's one thing that the 705 will work with this style of bait. But then this rod probably is going to cover, I would say, probably 50% of the crankbaits across America. This is called the 704. I call it Junior because it throws these little crankbaits like a jewel. This one here is the Lucky Craft SKT Mini DR, and the new Skeet Reese limited edition color patterns. But the thing is, with this rod, you've still got the great backbone. I'm going to step back here so you can see this. You still got the great backbone, but look at how much more bend you've got. You've got a tremendous amount of bend, but you still got backbone. That parabolic tip allows you to cast these baits farther. If you try to throw these little baits on a heavier cranking rod or a graphite rod, you wouldn't get the distance. This rod allows me to throw this bait a long ways, not sacrifice distance. It doesn't allow me to sacrifice backbone and strength, but it gives me the added benefit of more of a tip. Now the problem is you say, well, if it's got more tip, why not throw those big baits on? Because it's too much. It allows, you've got to match the rod, the bait to the rod. This bait, the smaller cranks work great on this. I'll make a cast for you and show you. See the great distance out of that crankbait? It's still got enough tip to allow that bait to hunt around and swim around and find those hungry bass. And last and not least, let's call it Big Bertha. Well, this rod here is the 805 CB Randy McCabe Deep Cranking Special. Randy McCabe is a deep, for the people in the Midwest and that may not know Randy, Randy is a specialist in throwing this big bait out on the West Coast and has won a tremendous amount of money. And he teamed up with Gary to design a rod especially for him. This actually is a graphite rod. It's an 8-foot rod, but it's still got some tip to it. But look at all the area of backbone there. You've got a tremendous amount of backbone to allow you to cast that bait a long ways, crank it down there, and hang on when the fish start biting. See how far that thing casted? Look at that, putting a tremendous pull on it. You owe it to yourself to take a look at the Dobyns rods. They've got rods that allow you to throw that crankbait, no matter how big or how small, a long ways, precisely. But the big important thing is it's got the backbone with the tip action to allow you to get, when that fish does bite, to get them in the boat. There's a lot of people out there that get discouraged at crankbaits because they lose fish. The secret behind a good crankbait fisherman is rods. And that's how they catch more fish and put more fish in the boat, by having the proper rods. So next time you're at your tackle store, take a look at the Dobyns product. And if they don't have them around, tell them they need to be looking at them. Because Gary Dobyns has a great lineup from flipping sticks to pitching sticks to swim bait rods to casting to spinnerbait to spinning rods. He's got it all covered, and it's great quality craftsmanship at a very, very affordable price. For what you get in a rod, you're probably not going to find anything else with as quality of components as what Gary does. Exposed reel seats, Keegan guides, a very good guide, very durable. A lot of guides on this rod. I mean, all of his rods have more than ample number of guides to allow that line to cast through there. Check them out. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time when we talk about more great products on the water.